What were your early years as a family like?
It was good. I imagine it was good. It was fun. I remember it was a lot more communication with my dad, him as a father. It was actually a pretty good family at the time. It was okay. She was always there for me as a thing. She was always more supportive than my father, as it's always been.
What did you like to do as a kid?
Hanging out with friends a lot, going to the local park in Bundeena and the skate park, which was fun. Always hanging around friends' house. Playing soccer was a thing too, in primary school and high school. Just hanging out, just being normal friends, just having fun.
When did it all start to change?
Around 15 and 14. I remember that's when my father started to get more heavily involved in drinking. And that's when he became a much more an aggressive and angry kind of person. Gradually as I got older, I did find myself in more arguments with him, and his attitude would change a lot. He'd be more, like I say, not as patient, just more of an angry kind of person, just wasn't very nice to talk to as well. At the time, I was too young to think of talking to anyone else about it. When Mum and I wanted to hide it, we discussed that we didn't want to talk to anyone about it. It was too full on for us. We hid it from the family. We just didn't want anyone to know what was actually happening in our family with the Mum and Dad and I situation.
How did your dad's drinking affect him?
When he would drink, he would change. He would change as a person. Yeah, it was very hard. It was hard to talk to him because he was always intoxicated at the time. Yeah, I very rarely would ever speak to him sober. I did try to challenge him, but he'd overpower me. I remember one time he came home from work and he was already heavily drunk at the time. He walked in the door and he was stumbling. He ended up just sitting down on the couch. And me and my mum were discussing in the room what was going on with him, and we obviously found out he was drinking at the time when he shouldn't be. And he promised to us he would fix himself up and try a bit harder to be a bit of a better person. And me and Mum were just discussing what was going on in the room about what happened to him when he walked in. He hopped up and then he decided to strangle us. Yeah, we tried to just ask him, "Do you need help? Are you okay?" But he just retaliated in anger and just strangled me and my mum.
You told the police, took out an AVO, but did you tell anyone else?
I only spoke to one friend about what was going on, but that was about it. I didn't mention it to any of the family. It was a lot easier and much easier to live with when he was not in the house for those couple months. And one day I was working with him. I was doing some labour work, and I was supposed to be driving home at the time, and he'd been drinking on worksite. This is one of my Earls, and I wasn't that much of an experienced driver. So I had to drive home anyway. He was supposed to kind of directing me on where to go, but whilst I was driving back from the city to Bundeena, he'd fallen asleep next to me. Yeah, so it was pretty scary driving in city traffic. He got done for DUI quite a few years ago, at the time. But that was when the drinking was starting. But then he also lost his licence again just before he murdered my mum and attacked me at the time. In the same month that happened, he lost his licence. He was just drinking too much, and he was just getting kind of thing, just too out of control. He just wasn't really paying attention that much anymore, and he was just slowly losing himself at the time. I remember he was just, he could barely talk. He drank that much alcohol, he could barely talk and speak. He couldn't function properly.
Finally, that terrible day came.
I got a message from my friend who lived downstairs at the house at the time, and he said, "Something's going on with your mum and your dad, they're fighting upstairs. There's been a lot of shouting." So I quickly rushed back home, ran up the stairs, and I heard my mum screaming whilst I was trying to open up the front door. And I ran down the hallway and I seen Mum on the floor. And I've shouted "Mum" at the top of my voice, and then I've turned around and I've seen my father coming from me down the hallway with a wooden bat, with a wooden club. He struck me in the back of the head with a club, and I fell to the ground, nearly unconscious. At the time I was concussed. And I don't know what happened, but I just got up and I just ran for the door. That was it.
How was the legal process, and what support did you get?
The legal process, yeah, that was a lot to take in and learn and study about. That was a lot. After everything happened, I came to live at my grandmother's house. I'm happy to be living here with my grandmother. She's an awesome, supporting person. I had my uncles and aunties to be helping me as well, majorly, which was really good. Also had support from the other side of the family, from my father's side, which are very good people too, which is my auntie and my uncle there. very supportive people. They were very good at the time too. The police and the homicide victim support group, which was who I was partnered with Caroline, which would give me a lot of support, which was really good, and it helped me a lot throughout learning the legal process.
Why the White Ribbon Walk and speaking out against domestic violence?
I'd like to speak out against domestic violence because nobody should ever have to go through what I've been through. It's a horrible time and really depressing time to be going through this, and no one deserves to see what your father murder your mother. It's horrible. The White Ribbon Walk, which is recently went to that. I've been to a few previously as well, the White Ribbon Walks, and being up the fronts, it feels really good to be leading on a whole bunch of kids and other people on a really positive cause that it needs to be stopped. Domestic violence, it's not tolerated at all. Nobody should have to go through what I've been through, kind of thing. It's just really just hope the future kids kind of be educated on domestic violence so this never happens again. Definitely speak out to someone. Speak out to someone who you can trust as another family member or a colleague, or even a school teacher or someone that can get the word out and try and fix the problem immediately. End domestic violence once and for all. No woman needs to feel in danger at home, or no child needs to feel in danger at home at the hands of a man. Domestic violence must be stopped.